I'd tell you a good chemistry joke, but all the good ones are gone. That's right, today we're talking about writing equations 2. Hit the theme.
Ain't nothing but a chem thing, baby. Two flipped out teachers going crazy. Lancaster is a district that pays me. Unbreakable, so please don't try to break this. But back to the lecture at hand.
Hello and welcome to another episode of SchuFu Chemin at ya. I'm your host Schu, and with me as always is Fu.
What up, nerds?
So Fu, today we're gonna do a little bit more with writing chemical equations and finally wrap up this very long unit.
True story, bro. So let's get started. Writing Chemical Equations 2, a lesson from the Formulas and Equations unit. Predicting products to double replacement reactions. You will see two compounds. Find the charges for each ion using the periodic table for monatomic ions, or table E for polyatomic ions. Match up positive ions with the negative ions. Do not write the original subscripts, unless of course they are part of the polyatomic ion.
Don't carry over subscripts unless they're part of a polyatomic ion.
Write the formulas of the new compounds, and then finally, balance the chemical equation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do a couple examples of predicting products for double replacement reactions. Schu, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, our first one here, we have PbNO3 plus Na2SO4. So the first thing we're gonna do is look up the charges of our ions.
All right, so Pb actually could be +2 or +4.
Okay, it's good to note that down for now.
Okay. And then NO3 is a polyatomic ion.
Good.
So the whole thing here on table E has a charge of -1.
Okay, now that NO3 is going to help us get the charge of Pb. So based on the fact that all compounds will be neutral and add up to 0, what does Pb have to be in this case?
All right, so since there's two NO3s at -1, that's -2, I'd need a +2 to make everything add up to 0. So now I know Pb's +2.
+2.
All right, so NA's, that one's easy because it's group 1. It's always +1. And then again, on table E, SO4 is always -2.
Good. Now what I want you to do, we're going to take a look at this equation just one more time before we start predicting. This is a double replacement reaction, and we know this because there are two compounds.
Okay, so because single replacement, we had element in a compound. These are two compounds.
Exactly. So to differentiate, when you see a single element, you got single replacement. Here, we have two compounds, so it's double.
Okay.
All right, so what I want you to do now is match up the positive ion from one of those compounds with the negative compound from the other.
Okay, so I've got Pb is positive +2. That would go to the negative SO4.
Good.
And then this is the positive Na, going with the negative NO3.
Looking good. I think we're all set to kind of see what our products are going to look like here.
All right, so I kind of want to show my work to kind of put the charges together. So I've got Pb +2, and I've got SO4 -2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got, sorry, is it Na2 +1?
All right, so remember, subscripts will never come over unless they're part of a polyatomic ion.
Okay. So I don't want the 2 there.
Correct.
All right, I'll just get rid of it. Just leave the +1. All right. And then the NO3 is minus. Now that's a polyatomic ion, so do I keep the 2 there?
All right, so there's a 2 outside the parentheses. That's not part of the polyatomic. That's just telling you how many polyatomics you had in that PbNO3 too.
So I do leave the 3, I just don't use the 2.
Correct. You can see how one's part of the polyatomic and the other one's not.
All right, so if I put these together then, the +2 and the -2 cancel out. I get PbSO4. I also get NaNO3. You know, I've done a lot of writing. I'm just gonna rewrite this full equation because I do have to balance it at the end, right? So let's check with my balancing here. I've got 1 Pb on each side, that's good. I've got 2 NO3s on the left, so to get 2 NO3s on the right, I put a 2 here. I've got 2 NAs on the right now, 2 2 NAs on the left, 1 SO4 on the left, 1 SO4 on the right. I'm good with just that 2.
You're all set.
All right.
All right, let's take a look at our second example here. We have AlCl3 plus LiC2H3O2.
All right, so again, 2 compounds. We're gonna look up the charges, switch the partners, I guess. So I think I got this. So Al's +3, always +3. Cl's minus, Li's +1, and again, another polyatomic ion. The whole thing is -1.
Looking good so far.
All right, so positive goes with negative, positive with negative. Line those up. By the way, does it matter like what order I put the final compounds in? Like, do I have to put the Al one first or the Li one second or what?
No, it actually doesn't matter.
Okay, so as long as they're both products, right?
That's correct.
So Al +3, C2H3O2 minus, and then I've got Li +1, and I know I'm not carrying over that 3.
Good.
So just Cl minus, no 3 there. So put them together, I get Al C2H3O2 parentheses 3, and then just LiCl.
Good so far.
All right, so just to rewrite this very quickly for balancing purposes, one Al on the left, 1 Al on the right, 3 Cl's on the left. I've only got 1 on the right, so let me try a 3 here. Now I've got 3 Li's, so I need a 3 over here on the left. Now I have 3 of the C2H3O2 minus, and over here I've got 3, so I should be all set.
We're all set. Good job. You try number 1. For the following 2 examples, please use the rules for double replacement reactions to predict the products, make sure your charges are balanced, and make sure your overall chemical equation is balanced in the end.
Predicting phases of products. There are 4 rules. For monatomic elements, they're going to be solid. In parentheses, we put an S to designate that solid. With the following exceptions. Hg is a liquid, and of course, all noble gases are gases. Second rule, diatomic elements are gases, G in parentheses. 2 exceptions, Br2 liquid and I2 solid. Water is a liquid, L, and if we have any other compound, we're going to just simply go to table F. More on that to come. You try number 2. Write the phases for the following substances using the rules that were just explained.
Most double replacement reactions occur in water, so we want to know if the products are soluble, which means they dissolve, or insoluble, which means they don't dissolve. Find either ion contained in the compound on table F. It's usually the negative ion. If the chart says soluble, it's going to be AQ, and that stands for aqueous. If the chart says insoluble, that's going to be S, which stands for solid because it did not dissolve.
So what does this look like in the lab? Well, if you mix 2 aqueous solutions together and one of the products is insoluble or a solid, it's going to actually look cloudy or chunky like in the picture that you see in the lower right. Okay folks, we're gonna really break down table F, which is solubility guidelines for aqueous solutions. Now, we're gonna have you do a little bit of labeling, and you're not gonna see us doing this on screen, so make sure you are listening very carefully.
Make sure you have your listening ears on!
Okay, let's start with a column to the far left. It says ions that form soluble compounds. What I want you to write above that column is AQ in parentheses. If you have any of these ions in your compound, it means that it's soluble, and therefore the phase of your compound is aqueous. Now, if we look at the column right next to that where it says exceptions, this means that's an exception to being soluble. Now, a lot right at the beginning, totally blank, there are no exceptions, they're always soluble, like the group 1 ions or ammonium. But if you look at those last 2 rows, halide sulfates, there are some exceptions. So for example, if I had a compound with Ag and Cl, because I'm looking at the halides with Cl, if I'm combined with Ag+, that would be an exception to being soluble. I'd like you to label the column that says exception as S in parentheses. This means solid. Because if we're an exception to being soluble, we are going to be a solid. Now if you look at the chart over on the right, these say ions that form insoluble compounds. In fact, there's a little asterisk there that says compounds having very low solubility in water. I don't really dissolve. So I want you to label this compound as S in parentheses for solid. So if you have compounds containing these ions, they're going to be solid. But then again, there are exceptions to these rules. So label in the far right column where it says exceptions as AQ in parentheses. Because if we're an exception to being insoluble, we must be soluble instead. All right, let's do some examples where we utilize table F. You ready, Fu?
I am.
Write the phases of the following compounds in water. 1, NH4,2S. All right, NH4,2S is made up of 2 ions, NH4 plus and S minus 2. So we're gonna look for those ions on table F.
Okay, so I'm on table F, and I see NH4 plus right there.
All right, so what column is it in?
All right, that is in the soluble column.
Are there any exceptions?
There are no exceptions.
All right, so if we are soluble, what does that mean about my phase?
It must be aqueous.
Must be aqueous. Let's see if we can find S minus 2 as well.
S minus 2 is right here. That's on the other side. That's on the insoluble side. So what does that make this?
Well, we should get the same result no matter which ion we check, so let's take a look at those exceptions.
Okay, so it says when combined with group 1 ions or ammonium. So since it was with ammonium over here, it is an exception.
Good, so for an exception to being insoluble, what does that mean?
That means it's soluble.
Soluble, and again, what phase?
Aqueous.
All right, so let's go back and label our compound as aqueous in water. Now, it is important to note that many times you will not see both ions on table F. If you do see both ions on table F, you should get the same result no matter which ion you actually check. You will always see at least one of the ions, and honestly, you only really need to check one of them. So if you saw NH4 plus right away, you could have found out that it was aqueous at the beginning and you wouldn't have had to have checked S.
Okay.
All right, let's look at the second example, BaSO4. We're gonna look for Ba plus 2 or SO4 minus 2 on table F. I will tell you, if you take a look at table F, you don't see a lot of positive ions listed, so most of the time you're gonna find the negative ion on table F.
Yeah, these are the only positive ones right here. So yeah, I don't see Ba at all. So I'm looking for SO4 minus 2. And that is right down here on the soluble side. So it's aqueous.
Oh, we gotta be careful though. We should always check any exceptions.
Okay, all right, so this one does have exceptions, and you know what? Ba is one of those exceptions.
All right, so if we're an exception to being soluble, what does that mean?
So if it's an exception to soluble, it means it must be insoluble.
And what phase is insoluble represented by?
Phase would be solid.
Solid, good. All right, so we know that example 2 is a solid in water. And our last example, number 3, is FeCrO4. I'm gonna let you take care of this question on your own.
All right, so I've got 2 ions, Fe and CrO4. Not a lot of positive ions on this side here, so again, Fe is not there. CrO4 though, that one is here. That's over on the insoluble side. Oh, I should check my exceptions though. It says when combined with group 1 ion, Ca plus 2 or Mg plus 2 or ammonium, none of that is iron. So there must not be an exception, so it means it is insoluble. No exceptions. Phase of matter for anything insoluble is solid.
Very good. You try number 3. Write the phases of the following compounds in water. Make sure you very carefully use table F.
If all products are aqueous, there is no visible reaction, since nothing pulls the ions out of solution. If a solid, called a precipitate, a liquid, like water, or a gas is formed, then the reaction goes to completion.
In other words, not all of our products are aqueous.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do a couple examples here to see if double replacement reactions go to completion. Shu, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so I see we already have those same 2 examples that we did earlier in this lesson. They're already written out, they're already balanced. All our job is going to be is to see if they go to completion or not. And we have to do that by checking phases. And you are such a good teacher at teaching me how to get phases off of table F. I'm gonna let you take the reins, at least on this part here.
All right, so we're gonna start with PbSO4 right here. And I see that SO4 is in the soluble soluble column. And we have actually PB plus 2 as being one of the exceptions. And so what that's going to mean then is that PbSO4 must be a solid. It's not soluble, it's insoluble. All right, let's do NaNO3. I see that Na plus is a group 1 ion, it's soluble. I also just happen to notice that nitrate is also always soluble, so either way, I'm going to get that this is soluble and therefore aqueous.
Good. Now that's the part you taught me. Here's the part I'm going to teach you. When we're looking to see if a double replacement reaction goes to completion or not, we're looking for something that's insoluble, that precipitate. So it can be a solid, it could be a gas, or we could form water itself. So did we form one of those three things?
Well, it looks like PbSO4 is a solid.
Okay.
So that's something that like comes out of the solution.
That would be the cloudiness if we were to see this in a lab.
Okay, so then we would say that yes, it does go to completion.
Good job. All right, let's take a look at our second example here. Again, Shu, I know you know how to get phases. I'm gonna let you take the reins here.
All right, so we've got Al and C2H3O2. And again, looking usually at negative ions here, I see acetate is actually always soluble, so that is going to be AQ, aqueous. And I've got LiCl. Li is group 1. We also see halides, chloride, Li plus not being an exception, so either way, we are aqueous.
All right, again, we're looking for one of three things. We're looking for that insoluble solid that we call a precipitate. We're looking for water as H2O, or we're looking for a gas to form. So did we get one of those three things?
No, because both of these are actually aqueous.
Okay, so what can we say about this chemical reaction?
I guess it's a no, because nothing's really pulling the ions out of solution. They're just, I guess, kind of floating around, so no visible reaction, doesn't go to completion.
That's correct. You try number 4. Do the following go to completion. Now guys, don't fret too much here. You've actually already done both of these equations as far as predicting the products is concerned. So please, before you go crazy, go back to page 64, and from that example, copy down the products with the balanced equation, and then you can look those up to see if the reactions go to completion.
Well, that's gonna do it for today's episode on Writing Equations 2.
Later, nerds!
Today's episode is brought to you by
Henri Remoulad's Turn and Churn Travel Ice Cream Maker. Churns 32 ounces of fresh ice cream every 32 miles. Wheel fresh ice cream!
But we never off, always on till the break of dawn. S-C-I-E-N-C-E in the hall they call S-Wing. You know we never wear a tie like my homies, boys to men. It's so hard to say goodbye.
Like this, that, and this, and it's like that, and like this, and like that, and it's like this.
You're going in low power mode.
Plug and chill to the next episode.